Hey guys, today I've got another jungling video, and this one's going to be on diving. So, diving is obviously really risky, but it's also super rewarding because it not only do you get the kill on the enemy laner, but the enemy laner is also guaranteed to miss minions because your lane's going to be pushed up when you dive. Not only that, but there's also the psychological effect of the enemy doesn't feel safe even under their tower anymore because you just dove them. So, really rewarding, but really risky. Now, patch 4.11 did change towers, so their damage ramps up faster, and they reach max damage after 2 hits instead of 3. So you will have to look out for that. I've got a little clip in the background, a few clips actually, of me just tanking the new tower shots, just to give you a feel of how long it'll take to kill you at different levels. And I did buy a quill coat later on Lee Sin. I was just testing it out, but I do have that extra 20 armor, just if you're curious. I really think that the main issue with diving is people's decision making when they dive. Diving itself isn't that hard. You just make sure that you don't take the turret for too long, and that's about it. But a lot of people will dive at strange times, so I thought I'd outline 3 different cases where you should go for the dive. The first one is the most obvious one, and that's just when there's a significant difference in health between you and your opponents. In this dive, when I was playing Pantheon, I just flashed over the wall because we had 3 high health people against 1 low health 80 carry, actually half health 80 carry. So that's a pretty obvious one. When you have a lot more health, then it's pretty safe to dive, even if it's pretty early, like if you have a lot more health. Just as long as it's not level 1. Don't ever dive level 1, level 2, level 3. Wait till at least level 5 or something like that. Now, there is a second case, and it's not really, like, in this case, you don't really have to have them having low health. It's just that there's going to be a point around 10-15 minutes where your top laner is going to get so tanky that it doesn't really matter, assuming you have a tank top laner like Renekton. If you have someone like him who's going to build tank, then probably around that time he's going to have enough armor where you can just dive because he'll survive long enough. And it does depend on the enemy though, so be a little careful about that. And the second case is when you have a displacement ability to get your enemy away from the tower. And this isn't a very common situation. Not many champions have a strong displacement ability, but the ones that do, that off the top of my head, I'm sure there are a couple others that you can use, but just off the top of my head, there's Lee with his ultimate kick, there's Gragas with his barrel, and there's Alistar with his headbutt. So here, I just straight up flash the Wraith Wall and just kick Anivia away from the tower, and it's a really easy kill just like that, because, well, first of all, we have a Zed, so his ult does a lot of damage, and then we were at not much risk because of kicked away from the tower. Now here is the risk of diving, is that can happen. Teleport and jungler shows up, but thankfully we got out of the way that time just fine. So that's that. And then case 3 is when you have a lot of bursts. Now that kind of showed in the last one where with Lee Zed we had a lot of bursts to kill them, but this is an even better example where we have an Annie and a Lee, which is going to do a ton of damage really fast. And actually, the reason why this is important is because if you do the burst quick enough, then you don't have to tank the tower for as long. So you can actually try earlier tower dives if you have high burst, because you won't have to tank the tower as long, and you won't take as long for the enemy jungler to show up. So that's the last case, and that's going to be it. In conclusion, diving and the decision making behind diving are very important things to learn because it'll help you snowball games really hard, and you'll win more knowing it. So make sure you're careful, make sure you don't do anything too stupid, make sure you practice diving, and you'll be good to go. So that's going to be all, and if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing or watching more videos. See you guys later.